Hi there, welcome back. Thank you for coming back to Sew It Make It. Today is all about the bobbin and some of the tension questions you might have about how to get the stitch right. So I'm going to go through how you prepare the bobbin, how you insert the bobbin into the bobbin case, what to look for when you do a stitch out, and how you can do subtle and slight adjustments to handle that tension that you might need based on fabrics that you're choosing. So I used an example of a thicker fabric in the video and what adjustments I had to make the stitch come out right. So I'm hoping that will be helpful. One of the tools that you may need if you don't have one is the really small screwdriver that comes in this kit. I've linked that below. It's a very, very small screwdriver that fits perfectly in the screw of the bobbin case. If you have one, maybe from an eyeglass repair kit or something, that'll probably work. It's hard to find very, very small screwdrivers. So anyway, I've linked a kit that might be helpful if you need it. There are other great things in here that are helpful for just basic sewing, machine maintenance, cleaning, threading, that kind of thing. So I'll link that below. Quickly, this is the Alex Shirtdress from the Sew Over It City Break ebook. And it's my capsule wardrobe. I'll link that below. That's a really nice, they did a beautiful job in some of the photography of all of the pieces that come with that ebook. So this was a PDF pattern download that I enjoyed. It's been out for a little while, but has some great pieces in it. So I'll leave that down below as well. So let's get started on the bobbin basics, and then I'll come back on at the end and chat with you in a bit. Okay, all right, let's just get started. Okay, so it's now time to wind the bobbin. So we're going to take our thread, put it on our spool pin. We're going to run it through this top guide here. We're going to get our class 15 bobbin, which is right here. I'm going to put the thread right inside one of the top holes, doesn't matter which one, and just hold on to that for now. The next step is called release the clutch. So releasing the clutch on the machine allows us to enable the bobbin winder to do its thing. So on your hand wheel, there's an internal dial right here that you need to turn in that direction. So it's turning towards you. So I'll show you how from here. I'm going to take one hand. Let's see, I'll take this, I'll hold it with this hand, and I'm going to unscrew this inner dial here. That's the clutch. So that's now free to move, and we can now go ahead and finish our bobbin winding. So we're going to take our bobbin. The next thing we need to look at on this machine is that on this bobbin, you have a very small groove right here. Let's see if I can point to it here. There's a little indentation right there. And there's also a corresponding little loop on the side of this bobbin winder right here that sticks out. So I want to put this one on that so that they line up. And when you do that correctly, the bobbin just slips right onto that post. My thread fell out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, and I always like to have a tail of thread. So I'm going to hold that out. And I'm going to line up that groove with the one that's on the post, and it slides down on top of that. Hold the thread. You're going to now press this section of the bobbin winder into the bobbin, and then you can press on the gas. And you'll see that the thread is winding evenly up and down on the bobbin. Once you're done winding the thread, this mechanism will actually pop off as soon as the bobbin is at its maximum capacity. So that's kind of nice. It's a feature that's built in so that as this mechanism keeps coming out, as the thread keeps filling up, it will pop off. So you want to go ahead and cut your thread here. I leave a tail again. You can take this up. You also have a tail. Remember the tail that you started with? I like to cut that flush with the bobbin. So get rid of that. Now you have your bobbin. It's ready to go and be inserted into your bobbin case. You're going to take your thread. You're still going to keep it in this guide because that's still helpful. And go ahead and thread your machine like normal. And go ahead and tighten your clutch over here to the right. And you'll then be able to move your take-up lever again so that you can bring it to the highest position and continue your threading. We're going to open up the bottom part of the machine here, take this piece off. This happens to be magnetic. It may be a little bit different with your machine, but you want to take this section out so that you can get to your bobbin. Here's the bobbin case. We have a little handy lever that's on this bobbin case. We're going to find that and pull the whole bobbin case out. All right, so we have the bobbin case, but we need our bobbin. So this is called a class 15 bobbin. This is the particular bobbin that's necessary for this machine. Yours may be metal that may look a little different, or you may have a machine that needs a plastic bobbin. So it just depends on your particular make and model, but you want to make sure that you get the proper bobbin for your machine. All right, so we're going to take this bobbin case, we're going to slip the bobbin into it. And what I'm looking for is this little slice right here. I want to take the thread and run that underneath this metal flap until the thread gets into this opening, this what looks like a dark opening here. We want to take the thread and we want it to be coming out of that opening of our bobbin case. Okay, you should be able to check the tension. You should be able to shake your bobbin and have it go down and drop ever so slightly. If you cannot do that at all, that means the tension is probably a little too tight on the bobbin. If it is so loose that the bobbin falls out of the bobbin case, that means that your tension is a little too loose. And the way you can modify that is you take a very small screwdriver and you locate the screw that's on the outside here. Remember, this is the flap that's laying over the thread. So this pressure from this outer piece here is what's creating the tension on the thread. So you want to take a screwdriver and go righty-tighty ever so slightly and check that. Make sure that you can still hold the bobbin in the bobbin case by the thread. If it's too much, you can adjust this and go to the left if you need to loosen it a little bit. So that's how you check to make sure your bobbin thread is at the right tension in the bobbin case. Next step is to take your bobbin case with your bobbin in it and hold it like this so that you have what you need. You have your bobbin inside, you're holding the lever, and you have your thread just loose outside here. Our next objective is to take the tip here of the bobbin case, and we're going to locate this little section right here. There's a little opening right there. So we want to put the bobbin right in there like a puzzle piece and put that right inside. You can let go of the lever. You can see that that's seated. There's a little bit of give there. That's okay. And you're just going to leave the loose thread until you start to operate the machine now, because now I threaded the top with a yellow thread so that you can see how you're going to bring that bobbin thread up to the top so that it can be ready to form the stitch. Next step is to take your top thread. You're going to hold it aside here. You're going to take your hand wheel and go down. By moving the hand wheel towards you, you're going to come down here. Watch what's happening to the bobbin. You're going to see that yellow thread come around. It scoops up that blue thread, creates a loop, and it comes up to the surface here where you can see. And when you get to that point, you're going to want to take scissors or an awl or whatever you have handy and bring those two to the top. Take your top thread and put it down the center of your presser foot and off the back of the machine. All right, so now that we have the threads off the back of the machine, we're ready to assemble everything and put it all back together. So look at my poor girl here. She has quite a bit of wear and tear on her, but that's all right. And this is a little rough, but she is ready to sew now. So I'm going to go get a remnant piece of fabric, and we're going to do a test sew and see how it looks. All right, I did a stitch out and I wasn't real happy with it. So let me bring this up closer so you can see. The yellow thread, of course, is your top thread, and the blue was the bobbin thread. But you can see little hints of the blue thread being pulled up into the top. So it shouldn't have that polka dot look like that. It shouldn't have the blue visible. So I did have to go back and mess with the tension a little bit. This is also very thick fabric, so that may factor in as well. So what that meant when the blue comes up to the top is that the top thread was too tight, and it was pulling the blue thread from the bottom up to the surface, up to the top. So I did reduce my tension in small increments. Remember, I had it at 4, so I was slowly bringing it down to the 2, but I did all these stitch outs before I got to the place where I felt like I was happy with the stitch. So you can see all of those were test stitches until I got to this one where it's all yellow, which is what I wanted. So I did that for the top tension. And then for the bottom, remember I used my small screw here, and what I did with the blue then was I tightened it. So I would put the screwdriver in to this very small screw and just turn it a very small amount to the right. Put it back in the machine, thread my machine, do my stitch out, and take a look. So I did that. Every time I did the top, I did the bottom, but I did very small changes until I got to this stitch, and I was finally happy with that. So it may take you a few tries. Be patient with your machine, and you'll learn something about the tension. Just don't make any drastic or large changes on either one of these tension areas so that you get the best stitch. And that way, when you work on fabric like this, you'll know that your tension needs to be a little bit adjusted to accommodate for the thickness of the fabric. All right, so what do you think? Bobbin Basics, do you feel a little more confident, a little more knowledgeable? Was it helpful? Just let me know down in the comments. If you have any questions, please leave those below. The only other thing really would be whether the machine has been oiled. I could even do a video on oiling your machine. These Kenmores came with a diagram in the manual so that you can do your own oiling and your own maintenance. So that was always very empowering when I had my early Kenmore, not the one that I am showing you on these videos, but back when I was, 100 years ago when I moved out of my parents' house, I had an old Kenmore and I was able to maintain it. So it's a wonderful thing to be able to do that. You don't have to necessarily bring it into a sewing machine repair place if you can do it yourself. So that might be something of interest. Let me know below. And again, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or you have any other ideas of other sewing machine maintenance and confidence building videos that you'd like me to do, please leave that below. And I'm really itchy now to get back to the sewing machine and start making some outfits that I can share with you. So that's what's coming up next. Thank you again and happy sewing, and I will see you in the next video. All right, bye-bye.